Before we start the podcast, we would like to state that the views and opinions of the host and guests do not represent those of the organization and the university and its stakeholders.
안녕하세요, 여러분. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Aja Animo's very own podcast, called Aja Kaja Podcast, hosted by Jojowain ng Taon ng Pangasinan, Nerissa Flores, and Bebe Girl ng Cavite, Dynasty, where we talk about all things Korean from the Pinoy perspective.
That's right. Get to catch a glimpse of everything K-related, such as K-pop, K-dramas, K-food, just K-everything in the Philippines.
That's right. We have a lot of interesting topics in store for you guys, but let's begin our first episode by getting to know a brand new organization in the La Salle University, Aja Animo.
Okay, honestly, when I first entered college in DLSU, I was really surprised that there were a lot of organizations in DLSU. It's like every course they have a home organization, and there are also a lot of interest-centered organizations for music, dance, and there's even for your hobbies and such as anime. I didn't even know that there were organizations for that. Like, my previous school didn't have that, so it's really really cool.
맞아요, 맞아요. When I ask my friends from different universities, they also have organizations, but they treat organizations as, an extracurricular activity. As for us, we treat our art life, which is, I think, is a part of Lasallian culture. So I am excited to know more about this Aja Animo.
That's right. Before we dive deeper to our topic, though, the Aja Kaja podcast broadcasts on Aja Animo's Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Aja Animo every Fridays at 8 p.m. So please make sure to follow and stay tuned for our podcast and for other updates and posts. You can also check out our Instagram page at Aja Animo.
Alright, 그러면 우리 시작해볼까요? 아자,
Kaja! All right, so today is actually a very special day.
oh, what do we have for this
Whoa.
evening, Miss Dana?
Well, because we are accompanied by our two very special guests. Can you guess who?
Oh,
Oh, is it Kale? Is it
Bigyan?
Bantan?
Oh! Well, I think
Nerissa?
for our guest here, napakasikat ng mga kasama natin today, Miss Dana.
Ay, mas mataas pa kumanta kaysa kay Taeyeon.
Mm-hmm.
Mas
Okay.
kaya pang gumawa ng body rolls kay Jungkook.
Oh, now to everyone tuning in to our podcast, allow me to introduce to you our beloved main vocal slash president, Miss Camille Yu. Woohoo!
Ooh, hello.
Lastly, we have our very own founders present. Do you guys know who it is? Mr. Nash Ramos.
Hello.
Okay. Hi, Camille. Hi, Nash. Please say hi to our listeners and viewers tuning in right now.
Hi guys. Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yun. So, hi guys. 안녕하세요. Camille입니다. Woo! It's nice to be here and thank you for inviting me.
Yay! 환영합니다. Welcome to our guest.
All right. Now to spice things up, we'd like to start things off with an acrostic poem. So, Dina, what's an acrostic poem?
An acrostic poem, actually, if you have tuned into a lot of variety shows, it's actually a huge part of Korean, the Korean culture. It's something you do for fun. So basically, an acrostic poem is when the first letter in every line of the text spells out a specific word. Of course, an acrostic could also be constructed where the last letter of each line of the text spells out the word. But this is harder to make. An acrostic poem is a poem where the first letter of each line or the last letter of each line spells out a specific word. So basically that.
Okay, so for our two guests here, I will make a sample. Okay, alam niyo ba, pinag-iisipan ko to kanina pa eh. Napakahirap talaga nito. Sige, isigaw niyo naman sa akin. Tulungan niyo ako mga guests. Aja, dali.
Ah!
Andiyan na ang aking
Ja!
Ja!
Dagya! Alright, so for every one of us here, we'll make an acrostic poem with 2 or 3 words depending on how it goes. Dina, tara, i-lead natin ang ating mga guest speakers.
Sige, I can start. Gayahin kita, Nerissa. 1, 2, 3, go!
Ah!
Aja Animo.
Ja!
Jams to the sickest songs of K-pop. And with that, I want you guys to follow our Aja Spotify playlist. Yes!
Magaling! Magaling!
Galing.
Dapat may promotion, guys.
Marunong.
Ayan,
Magaling.
ganun ba
Prepared.
talaga pag sikat? Wow, sikat!
Oo.
Okay, thank you for that, Nash. What about you, Miss Camille?
Hala, pressure.
Mhm.
Sige. Pressure, pero bahala na. Go!
Aja din?
Aja din.
Okay, go, Dina. Sigaw ka ng atoms. Dali, dali.
Ah!
Ah!
Ja!
Ja! Krong! Okay, yun lang.
Sakit ng puso ko.
Ako rin.
Ayan, no, natapos na ang ating dalawang special guest. Siyempre, hindi magpapatalo. Dapat meron din si Dana, di ba?
Clap.
Sobrang hindi ko to pinag-isipan. Okay. Sige, adyo na din para natin pareho.
Okay, sige. Ah,
Ah!
da.
Ka.
Diyan ka lang pala.
Iba naman
Ganyan
talaga
na.
ang ating
Magaling.
guys.
Wala, nahiya ako.
Oh my God. Yan guys. Sana na-enjoy nyo ang ating mini game. So kung may mga kaibigan kayo na alam din tong acrostic poem, ilaro nyo na to para masaya, di ba? Nag-enjoy ba kayo guys?
Yes.
Okay, so Miss Dana, ano po ang ating susunod?
Alright, now that we're done with our banchan, not bangchan, or banchan, our side dishes, now we get to grill our meat.
What we're trying to say is, well, now get into the reason why you're listening to this podcast. Now, quick question to you all. Why are you in Aja Animo? And how do you find it so far given the transition to an online platform? Who wants to go first?
Sige, ako na lang muna.
Okay, Miss President.
Well, ibang parang ang light and ang light sa pakiramdam ba? Kasi parang it's an org that focuses on something that like hobby ba, kumbaga. Tapos parang, pero in a way, syempre, pressure pa rin and everything. Because coming from previous orgs that I've been into, parang nasanay ako masyado sa face-to-face, ganyan. And then now, suddenly, we have to shift online. So in a way, it's pressure on how you will engage with the members and everything. Ayun lang, nakakamiss pa rin talaga ang face-to-face. Ayun.
That's true. Ang unfortunate nga kasi yung first talagang term na we already have a lot of like last year pa tayo nag-iisip ng mga events and meron na tayong vision na okay, ito sa room natin na to gagawin o kaya sa central, ganon. Tapos biglang, How about you, Nash?
Well, for me naman kasi, graduate na ako, first of all. So, hindi ko na-experience yung online setting with org works. Pero, yung preparation kasi for the org, madali siya kasi face-to-face. So, parang mas madali nating napaprocess, napaplan yung events natin. And now, based sa mga narinig ko from others, from you guys, it's very difficult and need talaga natin mag-adapt because, it's for our members. And I'm happy naman because everyone's doing well sa org and nakapag-adjust naman lahat. And ayun, yun lang naman for me.
At this time, parang birth by fire ang Aja Animo.
Tama. True. Alright, yung birth by fire, Happy day.
So if I were to ask you ba all at the same time and being heads of Aja Animo, I guess you guys should have a general perspective on this. what do you think is for you? What is Aja Animo and why was it created? Nash,
Okay,
being the
for
founder.
me, sige. Well, may definition naman ng Aja Animo sa Facebook page namin. But personally, my definition of Aja Animo, it's a platform where all fans, all Korean culture enthusiasts express their love for Korean culture. It's something that is an outlet for everyone. Ayun, so yun yung vision ko for Aja Animo is for everybody to, have a home, second home, ganyan. And, and ayun lang, like, Aja Animo is for everyone, regardless of your age, culture, we're inclusive here, diba? Ayun.
That's true. And actually, Aja Ano is kind of like a reflection of, say for example, Korean entertainment natin. It's for there's everything for everyone, and Aja Ano is basically the same thing as well.
Yes, we love the analogy, Miss Dana.
Mhm.
Chag, right? Di syempre, since it's been like almost our second term here in Aja Animo, we want to hear it from Miss Camille you. So what is Aja Animo for you? And why was it created?
Thank you for that wonderful question. Aja Animo. De, charot lang. Aja Animo for me, well, if you define it literally, it means let's go animo, diba? Or whoo, animo, ganon. But for me, it's like what Nash said, it's something about celebrating and sharing of our love for the Korean culture, our willingness to appreciate and learn Korean culture. Um, in a way, I also, ang vision ko rin for Aja Animo is, parang, kasi we tend, well, us minsan Filipinos, di ba, na parang minsan if we, let's say, we love like another culture, parang sinasabi na, um, parang masyado natin silang ginugusto na to the point na parang hindi ba natin mahal ang sarili nating bansa, ganon. So in a way, I want to change that perspective or don't have that. Parang hindi naman sa porket na you love this certain culture, you will neglect your own. Parang for me kasi it's about um intertwining, char, wow, deep word, intertwining those two cultures and finding a ground for everything.
Well said, well said.
Talagang presidente. Napaka-insightful naman ng mga pinagsasabi ng mga guests natin today. Oh my God. Alam niyo ba, gusto ko mag-follow up tuloy. Okay, so since founders kayo ng Aja Animo, curious ako kung ano yung story behind, like yung paano nabuo yung grupo nyo na gumawa ng Aja Animo. Gusto ko marinig kay Nash.
Nash, go!
Paano ba nagsimula ang lahat?
Okay, this long story. Pero, sige. It started, well, Camille and I are org mates, di ba? From another org. And then, nagka-activity kami na K-pop related because we were both K-pop fans. And as the internal VP for that org, nag-create ako ng Leap Class K-pop dance workshop. And I was so happy because a lot of people came, a lot of students came. Kahit nag-enroll na sila sa ibang class, pumunta pa rin sila because in-anticipate nila yung K-pop dance workshop na yun. And naging successful ng event na yun. So after that, parang napaisip ako, wow, ang ganda, ang saya, ang ganda mag-host ng event na passion mo yung ginagawa mo. And ayun, sabi ko, nilapitan ko kaagad si Camille. Camille, gusto mo gawa ng K-pop org? Kasi nakita ko yung parang long-term, parang basta may nakita ko something sa event namin na parang wow, pwede pala to. And yun, I messaged Camille, nag-meeting kami, natatandaan ko pa sa CSO office. Ayan. So, ayun, after that, after namin mag-meeting sa CSO office, headhunt na kami ng possible core. Una naming na-contact, I think, is si Nerissa. Na headhunt namin siya through, alam ko kasi, sa state Twitter account, I'm a fan of Stray Kids. Ayan, sikat na si Nerissa. Dami niya nang hinahead na event. So, knowing that, hindi naman interviewed her, pero we messaged her, set up a meeting, nagkakilala kami, ayan. So, yun, nakilala namin si Nerissa. After nun, yun, part na siya ng team namin. The second na kinausap namin from our org is si Dana. Ayan, kasi alam namin fan din siya and alam naman namin leader na leader si Dana and could really, lead a team. Yan. And then, ang last is si Mao. Si Mao was from we had an interview for the EB. EB possession lang, not core. Pero his performance was so good. He was so specific about his platforms, his programs. Ayan, kaya instead of, the VP position, we gave him the EVP position. Ayun, doon siya nag-start actually sa very simple leap event namin. Doon siya nag-start, I guess. Ikaw, Camille, anong masasabi mo?
Oh, parang sobrang memorable nung org year na yon. Kasi parang mula term 2 to term 3, puro Korean, nung naging VP internal si Nash nung org na yun, puro sinisingin niya talaga yung pagiging Koreanness nung mga...
PBH, kahit hindi related,
Oo.
isingit natin K-pop random play dance sa isang week event namin. So,
Parang
Habang may
membership
pasok lang.
appreciation week, tapos Camille, magpa-random play dance tayo. Ako naman, okay, sige. Kasi gusto ko rin naman parang cut-cut ng songs, char. Tapos, ayun nga, yung leap, tapos sumunod nung leap, parang yung foodie mixer. Basically, we have to give like Korean food, parang free food for the members lang. Ayun, pero sadly that event was canceled due to rains. Char.
Typhoons, yan.
Typhoons, ayun. Tapos, ayun din. Pero feeling ko, tatap din ako ni Nash kasi ako din, may 2 years pa ako sa org na yon. Char. De, joke lang. Parang basically, because of Nash's love, char, for the Korean org, and nakita niya yung potential success, kaya na may bring out na Animo. Ayun. Parang hindi daw siya puro singit-singit lang lagi sa mga sa main org namin. At least ngayon, may sarili na siyang org mismo.
Alright.
Bro.
We love a pioneer. Wow, big word, pioneer.
Pioneer.
Galing nun ah. Like, how often do you just randomly think na during an event, tapos biglang kakausapin mo yung kasama mong ka-interesado doon. Sabihin, uy, kaya tayo ng org about this. Biglang may ganito na, and we have so many members in our first year.
Yee, clap, clap.
That we
Love
went
growth.
from an idea to where we are now, and we're still growing. So, Nash, proud ka ba?
Of course, super. Yes.
Ayan. Sige, now na nakuha na natin yung backstory. Sige, ituloy na natin. So, what was the spark that caused you to love Korean culture and in turn join Aja Animo? Big question. Pwede rin ito masagot ng mga members natin sa Aja Animo. Pero for you, ano yung spark na nag-cause sa inyo to love Korean culture? Ayun, yun na lang.
Well, ako, to be honest, feel ko awayin ako ng mga fans ngayon. Pero I was that person back then na parang sabi ko sa sarili ko na I will not get into K-pop talaga, parang or anything Korean related kasi nung una hindi ko siya gets. But then parang the first drama that I watched is The Heirs, pero the drama that got me into K-pop mismo is Dream High because of Taekyon and Wooyoung na 2 p.m. Tapos nakita ko na parang 2 p.m. was, ang branding nila is Beasley Idols, which is, for me, parang wow, bago. Kasi ang initial stereotype ko from the K-pop groups was flower boy image. Ganon. Ako naman hindi ako sanay sa flower boy image. Mas sanay ako sa Beasley talaga. So, gulat na gulat ako nung, wow! Beasley, wow! Tapos ang pogi ni Taekyon, char! Anyway, ayun. Tapos, and then I slowly got into Winner through variety shows kasi nakakatawa si Mino. And nakakatawa din yung mga contents talaga. Parang yung variety shows ng Korean is really different from how us Filipinos do it. So that's something na wow, parang kakaiba. Ayun, and then through dramas, through everything, because how they tell their stories, how they produce stories and music videos, basically anything about the arts, parang sobrang ang ganda tignan, basically, ganun. Parang well thought of. So that's something also na parang what I see na what we lack in us for us Filipinos, I think, na parang kulang tayo sa support ng art appreciation, parang mga ganon. So ayun, I love how they tell their stories and how they actually concepts and everything. And then I also got to know GOT7 naman through their music video na Just Right. Doon ko naman na-realize na K-pop can have this kind of meaningful lyrics pala. Pero to be honest, aga kasi ako, pero to be honest, too cute siya for me. Pero yung lyrics, parang alam mo yun, parang ang meaningful na parang it's telling you na it's just right to be yourself and everything. So doon ko na parang na-realize na, wow, K-pop can have this kind of meaningful, can also have this kind of meaningful music. And hindi lang siya like parang super melody based. Melody based? Ano daw? Hindi ko na alam. Ayun. Ikaw, Nash. Ikaw naman, Nash.
Okay, sige. Well, for me, I got into K-pop. Well, familiar na ako sa K-pop since, as a young boy, as a child who watches Mix Top 10, Daily Top 10, I always, parang, why is this nasa top 10? Like, anong meron? My first encounter was, yung 21, Fire. Di ba? So, super sikat nila. It was parang naging anthem na rin sa Philippines at some point in time. Yun yung first encounter ko. Pero wala akong like, okay lang, kebs lang. Wala akong masyadong pake. Pero like, ang ganda ng song, okay. Second encounter ko, BTS, Dope, 2017, MV. My favorite YouTube reactor kasi ako. Tapos, nag-react siya sa K-pop. So parang ako, curious din ako. Pinad ko yung YouTube video. After that, parang wow, ang cool nila, ang galing nila sumayaw. So parang doon ako nag-start parang kilalanin yung members and kilalanin yung culture. Pero as an accountancy student before, sobrang busy ko. Hindi ko siya like fully na-appreciate kasi nag-aaral ako. So nawala siya. Like hindi ko na masyado na-focus yung BTS. Parang kilala ko lang yung members pero hindi na nanonood ng videos. Pero bumalik ako noong nag-release yung Blackpink ng As If It's Your Last. Doon ako nag-start maging K-pop fan na talaga. As in, kinilala ko yung members, tapos nagsuscroll ako sa videos sila. As in, pagtulog ko late na because of Blackpink videos. Yun, doon siya nag-start as in sa Blackpink. And super na-appreciate ko. Kasi, iba yung song pag YG super, alam mo yun, super addicting, alam mo yung song na YG, if marinig mo siya. Ayun. Pero right now, since multi-fandom ako, serve tayo ng lanes, serve ng group, ngayon sa Stray Kids ako, doon ako gumawa ng first fan account, doon ako naging totally in. Like, because of Stray Kids. Pero for me, like BTS, 21 introduced me to K-pop, BTS made me interested, Blackpink, doon ako talaga nag-focus and then I swerved to Stray Kids. Ayun, yun yung story ko.
Ay, ang lalim naman pala ng mga kwentuhan natin dyan. Well, sige, since nandito naman na tayo sa usapan na to, syempre gusto ko rin marinig sa aking pinaka-lovely, sexy partner, Miss Dana. So, ano ba nag-spark sa'yo para maging interest ka sa Korean culture, Dana?
Actually nga, iniisip, like, lagi ko tong reflect on. Kasi, I'm 20 years old. And literally half of my life has been dedicated and sobrang ang dami ng influences ng Korean culture. And parang it's already been part of me as a person. Kasi talagang ang dami niyang kahit sa development ko as a person, feel ko ang dami ko natutunan because ayun, like Camille said about having storylines that aren't just about the melody, like musically, like there are also a lot. And yung experiences then of the idols themselves, sobrang ay, they really touch you in a way na you really, it's a different kind of inspiration. Talagang pag sabing role model, they're really role models. So, ayun, to start, nag-start ako because of Sandara Park. Naaliw ako na parang, wow, Pinay Pride. She was part of the group. So parang chinek ko siya. Kasi I remember watching her before kahit sa mga Filipino, parang, was it Star Magic? Yung mga shows niya before. Tapos naalala ko lang sobrang cute niya. Talagang tumatak sa isip ko ng cute niya. Salamat ko ng part siya ng Korean group. So, ayun, nagustuhan ko kagad kasi I'm really into dance songs. Nagustuhan ko yung Fire, and then ever since meron akong friend and wala pang mga fans talaga ng K-pop and siya lang yung nakakusap ko about it. And so, ayun, dumating sa point na parang naging apat kaming friends. Tapos nagbibigay pa kami ng roles. Parang nung grade 5 kami, oh, ako si Dara, ikaw si Bob, si El. Yeah, meron kaming roles. Tapos eventually, lumipat yung interest ko to Girls' Generation. Ito talaga yung talagang nag-stick, na nag-pin na talaga ng K-pop journey ko. Kasi, yung 21 TV kasi hindi ko siya nasubaybayan. Pero yung Girls' Generation at the time, sobrang dami nilang variety shows. Siguro, that's the very pulling thing about Korean pop. Kasi, they really let you get the taste of who they really are. Well, given naman na most of them are just showing a certain side of them because they're in front of the camera. But it still feels real, and most of them you could feel how genuine it is. So, ayun, andun pa yung Star Golden Bell, Hello Baby, Nagda Generation, panahon ng We Got Married, mga ganon. And, ayun, eventually naging Super Junior, and then naging EXO, and after nun, nagkaroon din ako ng moment katulad kay Nash na because naging very busy, medyo nagkaroon ng break. Actually, before before that, sige, 17. Yung 17 na talaga yung nag-stick na lang din sa akin. And that was before college. Pero naging busy nung college. And dahil sa Animo, doon na lang talaga ako napabalik loob. And I'm glad because of that. So, ayun, now I'm here and ang dami ko ng, ayan. For the listeners right now, I'm showing the host and the other guests na yung mga merch ko. Ayan. So, ayun.
Budol.
Ikaw naman, Nerissa, para to complete yung journey of
My
everyone here.
gosh. Actually, oh my God, nasabi niyo na lahat ng mga kwento niyo. Ang haba, girl. Okay, so sige, kwento ko na lang para short and entertaining sa mga ating listeners for this episode. Sige, kwento ko na lang kung paano ako napunta sa K-pop or parang Korean in general. Okay, alam niyo ba, nung grade 4 ako, gusto ko talaga alam mo yung nauso dati yung mga MP3 na maliliit, ganun. Tapos, ito sa dad ko, Dad, bilang mo ako ng limited edition. Gusto ko yung bago. Ang tara yung arte ni ate girl, oh. Tapos, nung isang araw, inumin ako ng tatay ko. Alam mo yung maliit na Walkman. Tapos yung Walkman, may maliit na screen doon. Tapos doon, pwede ka daw manood ng videos. O, di ba? Limited edition. Ayan. So, pinagawa ko sa tatay ko. Sabi ko, Dad, sige nga, lagyan mo nga ng kanta. Sabi niya, ano gusto mong kanta? Kahit ano naman, kung ano makita mo sa YouTube, ganon. Kasi di ba uso yung kino-convert yung MP3, ganon. Ayan. So, nung natanggap ko na yung Walkman ko, sabi niya, oh, ito yung Walkman mo. Di, ako, syempre ako, na-curious ako kung ano yung mga pinaglalagay niya. So, may mga Western music, country music. Tapos, bigla na lang ako may narinig na kanta. Alam niyo ba yung kantang yun?
Sorry. Char.
Di! Baby! Siyempre, alam mo na yung kanta yun, di ba? Yes!
Iconic!
Sobrang nagtaka ako. Sabi ko, anong language 'to? Kasi 'di ba yung kanta parang ring ding dong, ring ding 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 pa gano'n. So parang hindi ko siya maintindihan. Pero at the same time nagustuhan ko siya, parang ang ganda ng feel na yun. So starting from there, parang pinakinggan ko rin yung other songs nila, lalo na yung Replay, gano'n. So that was back in 2008. So alam niyo yun guys, from there pa lang, from there pa lang, parang nag-start ako na, "Uy, ang ganda ng language nila." So parang, okay, nag-start na ako mag-learn ng language, gano'n. Manonood ako ng ano ba mga shows meron ng Shiny. So pumunta ako sa mga variety shows nila. Then at the same time, nalaman ko na lang din yung culture. And then up to this point, I think it's been 13 years since I started loving Korean culture. From there on, parang continuous lang yung learning process ko about them. And it's interesting kasi at some point, may mga similarities rin sila sa Philippine culture, which pag-uusapan natin yan mamaya. Ayan! Okay. So,
Actually,
mm,
sakto na siya. Because we already, parang most of us have been, sobrang embedded na talaga sa atin yung Korean influences, like Korean culture, sobrang exposed na natin. So I think most of us would really get a good answer to this. What do you think is the most enchanting part about Korean culture na Hollywood? Kasi most of us talagang sobrang accidental na nakita na natin parang, uy, diba? So there has to be something very captivating about what they have, like the Hollywood. And what do you think yung similarities nila sa culture natin, Filipino and Korean culture?
Sige, I can go first. To be honest, kasi ako kasi as a person who loves like photography, videography, or anything about production related, it's really the production and the storyline and the concepts of everything Korean na parang dun talaga ako namangha na parang naging medyo factor din siya kung bakit hindi ako nag-com arts in the first place. Ayun, parang because of how they tell stories, of how they produce their music videos, dramas, movies. The theme is the same, pero how they tell that theme is always different in a way. So that's really what I want to like master and like paano yun? Like paano nyo, how can you tell stories like that? Kasi it's really different from how like let's say our TV is produced din kasi. Tapos syempre aside dun sa mga pogi nilang Korean actors, gano'n, it's really the stories and the production itself. Ayun, ikaw Nash.
Sa akin siguro yung different yung uniqueness ng Korean culture kasi 'di ba they have different perspective. Iba yung take nila sa paggawa ng music video, sa pag-produce ng celebrities or artists or idols. Ayan. And super na intriga ako sa yun nga sa creativity ng mga companies sa pag-produce ng MVs, ganun. Doon ako na-enchant sa visuals ng MVs and sa talent na rin ng mga idols. Ayun, siguro that's what made me captivated.
Okay, so coming back dun sa putting together Korean and Filipino culture, what did you see in these two cultures that made you decide to push for the creation of the org and their general motivation, aside from what was mentioned a while? How about cultural-wise?
Well, both cultures kasi have a really strong fan base. Parang fandom culture kumbaga. We have both strong fandom culture. Well, in Korea, kita mo naman, sobrang intense, sobrang dedicated, supportive ng fandom sila doon. And in a way, sa Philippines then we have our own little fandoms. Well, not little, but pero yung artists, Daniel Padilla, sila Catherine, sila, as in malalaki fandom nila, and PBB, 'di ba? Votes talaga. Ayun, siguro I guess yung culture na yun, yung fandom culture, yun yung inspire sa akin na I want to make the org, I want to build the org kasi I want this nga to be an outlet for every fan out there to express their love for the culture and in a way then to meet friends that love the culture as well para mas iba yung connection pag same interests kayo ng friends mo. That's all. How about you, Camille?
actually same observation, parang with Nash about fandom. Pero, sige, other points is, ako talaga, yun nga, as I've mentioned, as a production enthusiast slash student, what really, like, encouraged me to love or like have this org is the production talaga the production aspect of like the Korean people. Char. Kasi I feel like our like the Filipino production side, our entertainment can still be improved. I mean, there are a lot of we have potentials on upgrading our entertainment content. Ayun na lang. So yun din yung gusto ko kaya ko rin gusto kaya rin ako enthusiast na i-establish yung Aja Animo is like how can we produce entertaining hindi man entertaining but like, how can we upgrade our content more.
Okay. Thank you so much, Camille and Ash. Okay, so if you had all the resources you need, how would you let Aja Animo grow? Would you, for example, turn this into an entertainment agency, considering now we already have our talent camp or a film company coming from dun sa vision ngayon ni Camille? I think that would be really great. Or kaya, a restaurant. What do you think? If you had the
Taray,
resources.
isipin mo na lang, no? Aja, Animo Entertainment. Wow! JYP ko! Ayan. So, Camille, ikaw, what do you think kaya?
Siyempre, kung if I have all the resources, all of those, parang ano ba, parang big hit slash, hide ba yun? Oh, di ba? Monopoly! Lahat parang entertainment na may broadcasting, na may film, tapos may cafes, kasi parang ang cute ng mga cafe sa Korea, tapos may restaurant, lahat na. Fashion, char. Ikaw na. All of those. Concerts.
Yun. Sasabihin ko sana sa akin, I wanna host concerts if I have the resources. Parang kumbaga lahat. Hello! Bring Bangtan here. Let's go! As in, ang ganda if yung fundraising activities natin, di ba, concerts, ang saya lang. And I wanna be close. Wow, close! I wanna, parang, high touch, personal meeting. Joke. I wanna get to know them more. Parang ano lang, if I have the resources, di ba? Set up a content na, getting to know K-pop groups, yung life nila as a trainee, as an idol, ganun. Parang ang saya. And yeah, more concerts talaga. Happy see, hello.
Totoo. Sana face-to-face na. Char, na-miss ko concert. Oh my God.
Same.
Totoo.
Uniweek pero Korean version. Char.
Oh, coming soon? Char!
Hindi ko, dapat mga 100 years pa ang adyo nun. Char.
Oh, okay. So speaking of resources, let's go reality check tayo. Reality check. So given yung mga resources na meron na si Aja Animo, what are your future plans and activities for this organization?
Siguro more on formulate kasi me personally I think na in order to survive the org you have to take care wow parang hone the leadership or like hone the potential of your members and everything. So given the resources of Aja Animo right now, what I really think that we should all focus on is sustaining the org pa and para at least pag-lash out to 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. So kaya I want to train, focus on the training on the holistic development, big word. Holistic development of the members and everything. Para naman, syempre, kasi di ba hindi naman tayo always officers dito, at least para may magmamana ng ating position and gano'n. Ikaw, Nash, what are your visions, Char?
I definitely agree. Sa akin, I want you guys to invest on the members. Kasi, I want the org to grow pa and to last, so to sustain 10, 20, 30, even 100 years. Yan, gusto ko yung mangyari. Gusto ko masustain yung org. So yun, invest on the members. Member-focused events. Let's ask the members kung ano ba talaga gusto nila sa org, like anong gusto nila makita sa org, and ayun, let's try to meet their expectations in a way para makita natin talaga, para ma-satisfy natin yung members natin and para rin mag move forward yung org. Like yung nasa vision ko talaga para lumaki siya.
True,
Ayun.
true. Kasi, to add lang, sorry. I think, actually, tinanong rin yan sa amin nung nag-defense kami for parang pre-accreditation nun. Parang, how will you make sure that the org will survive? Ayun nga. Parang, the Korean content will always be there. Or let's say, our love for Korean content will always be there, but sustaining the members and maintain or like developing the members is alam mo yun kasi yung magpapalago ng org in the future. Ayun.
All right. Okay. So thank you so much for all of this organizational talk and being able to talk about Korean culture and as well as Filipino culture. And to wrap things up, our last question, or siguro a request na lang din from our guests, we also would like to hear some song recommendations from you guys. Anyone could start? Camille?
Sige, I can start. One lang. I have to choose one lang.
Pwede naman dalawa.
Sige, dalawa. First is Bambi by Baekhyun. Wow, ang ganda! Well, super LSS tong song, super ang ganda niyang gift sa fans. Ang galing ni Baekhyun. And second is probably ang hirap pero if I have to choose siguro Blueprint by Stray Kids. It's a B-side track. Pero, ang ganda ng vibes. Yun lang. Gusto ko yung vibe sa song. Super happy. Ayan. Blueprint and Bambi. That's it.
Camille?
Oh, wait. Ang hirap. Pading 3.
Go na.
Okay, so, sige. Dahil tatlo yung fandom ko kasi. Sige. So, as a winner representative, Yoon's Iya or Bruce, because I feel like it's a song that captures all our emotions, our feelings right now, especially with the pandemic. Kasi wow, sakit siya, but it's comforting. So Iya or Bruce. When will this video be out? I think April 17. So sige. Second is Day 6. Yung bago nilang kanta, which will be out on the
let's
April
go.
19th.
Go,
OT5
my days.
comeback! Sorry, na-miss ko lang. So, ayun, kahit na hindi pa siya out, by the time of April 16. So, this video will be out April 16. The Day 6 comeback will be April 19. So, mark that on your calendars. Nag-promote. And then, the third one, God7. Wait lang, anong kanta sa God7? Take Me To You. Parang on top of my head, Take Me To You kasi, Take Me To You. It's comforting for me. Okay, yun lang.
Ikaw, Nerissa, meron ka bang song recommendation dyan?
Oh my gosh, kung pwede lang ibigay yung buong tracklist ng Stray Kids, gagawin ko na.
Buong discography, let's go.
Yeah, para sa ating mga listeners. Siguro isa lang yung ma-recommend ko. Isa or dalawa? Dalawa na lang. Okay. So first song is, eto lagi ko itong pinapakinggan pag nahihirapan na ako sa life. Wow! Okay, song title niya is, in Korean, it's Hago Iso. In English, it's Grow Up. So, napakaganda talaga ng lyrics nila doon. Kasi it tells about, na okay lang mag-fail kasi yung mga may mga role models natin na matatanda, damaan din sila sa ganong phase. Ayan. Kasama natin siya, guys. Pakinggan niyo siya na may English to para madama niyo talaga siya. Okay. So, yung second, siguro na ma-recommend ko is End of the Day ni Jonghyun. Parang it's my second track. Pag kunwari feel lonely ako or I feel tired at the end of the day, I always listen to that kasi gusto ko yung lyrics niya na yung mga ganon. Parang it's very comforting. It's like a big pat on the back. Although you hear it as music. Ayun. Ikaw, Dana, ano ma-recommend mo para sa ating mga listeners?
Hulaan niyo.
Start with an M?
Numatawa na lahat ng mga kasama dito. Okay, yes. I still and will in the next 10 years will recommend Mago. It's just so beautiful. Sobrang dancing niyang song, pero every time pinapakinggan ko siya, iniiyakan ko siya. It's just so beautiful, and it would take another hour for me to give justice to how much this song means to me. Pero check out Mago, and ang dami actually sa discography ng G-Friend that's really, really good. Another would be Better Me. Ito yung second part of Walpurgis Night, the same album where Mago is. Better Me is another very beautiful song. Sila din yung nag-songwrite nun. And it's about basically blooming in your own time. Ganon. So it's very empowering, and it's a pat on the back na parang okay lang yung kaya mo yan. So, ayun. I think we were able to give a variation of songs. So, to our listeners, kung ano yung flavor niyo of the night, just listen to it, and hopefully you guys liked it.
Again, we would like to reiterate that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not represent those of the organization, the university, and its stakeholders.
So, we will now wrap this up, yung story sharing. Thank you so much. Our guests share their stories of why they are in Adja Animo, and I think everyone else who's a part of the organization also has their own reasons for joining. Oho! May bago tayong pasok sa studio ngayon, just in time for our next short segment. Yada dun, let us welcome our pinaka-pogi, Papa Best, Executive Director for Operations Management, Ma'am Marasigan!
Let's go!
Our fast food influencer.
Hello. Apologies for the delay. It was brown out here now.
Okay lang yan. Welcome, Mau.
I have experienced a black ocean.
Okay lang yan, friend. We'll be your light. Wow! We'll be your light. Ayan.
Okay.
So since we're only short in time, so sorry about that, Mau. But no problem, no worries. We're gonna adjust for you. So for Mau, say hi muna to our lovely listeners.
Hi everyone. It's great to see all of you, see or hear all of you tuning into the first episode of Aja's podcast. Hey.
Ay, ayan. So since nandito naman na tayo, syempre, we want to know your story too, Mau. So, ayan, ibibigay ko na agad yung first question sa'yo. Pa! So, Mau, what made you join Aja Animo? Taray.
Actually, I was the last additional member for the debut group. Because like I found out Aja through I think yung community forum where they were looking for officers for recruits. Then one of my friends asked me if I wanted to apply for this K-pop org in the school. Then I was like, sure. Why not apply for? And then since I was not well versed with the other committees, the only committee that was close to what I was doing as a junior officer was documentations. So I was like, I'll apply for executive director for operations before now operations management. So ayun, I signed up. Then sila Camille yun at sila Nash nasa interview ko sila Daisel. Tapos ano, tapos natatawa ko because at the end of the interview, they asked me to dance a favorite song. I was like, I can't dance. So, ayan, then I got the results a few days after. And then I would definitely say it was one of the biggest plot twists for my college life was being able to be part of this family in Aja. So there, that's my joining story.
Ayan. So, ayan, we are complete na nakuha na natin yung stories of everyone here sa ating debut group. So, it's nice getting to hear that from you. So, ang last question natin, Mama, is tinanong din namin kanina kay Camille. What are your future plans and activities for this organization?
My plans for Aja are not really specific because in my committee, we're more of the preparations for the events. Like we make the events come to life depending on the vision of the project heads. So what I want for Aja Animo is to be recognized as more than just an org where K-pop fans or K-drama enthusiasts are in. I want it to be an org where we showcase diversity, inclusivity, and being able to share our perspective on how being a K-pop stan or a K-drama enthusiast has impacted something in our lives, and we want to interrelate this to Filipino culture, because as much as we don't like to admit to the reality, apparently a lot of people lack appreciation to the own culture that we have. So as Aja Animo, we want to integrate to the culture that interests us, to the culture that we were born with ever since we were young. So I just want Aja Animo to be successful, and in I think 30 years, it's going to be one of the premier orgs of DLSU in CSO. Hopefully, and fingers crossed.
Tama, tama. Ayan. So it's nice getting to know about the things that brought us to Aja Animo, di ba? Since it's a new org, I'm sure people would want to know more about it. And yes, ayan na, nasagot na nga ang mga katanungan ng ating mga listeners. O, pa. So that's it for our mini Q&A for Mount.
Prior to the release of the first episode, we asked you, our listeners, through our Aja board posted on our Facebook page, your insights on the differences between Filipino and Korean culture and what surprised you the most.
So we're going to read some of the comments. Kaja. Okay, so for first one is from Joshua Fabricante. He said that it surprised me how much Korea and the Korean government supports culture and the arts. Ooh, your thoughts about this, Miss Camille?
Actually, I agree. Parang from what I observe, sobrang selling point ng government nila yung K-drama sites, K-pop nila, 'di ba? Parang mas nakaka-economic boom, char. So that's what I really hope for us here in the Philippines, na more support talaga from the government and the Filipinos itself, na appreciate and appreciate the culture and the arts, because it's really a tourism selling point for us. Ayun. Yee.
Oh, I hope everyone agrees with Miss Camille's insight. So let's move on to the next comment. Miss Dana.
Okay, I actually really like this comment. It's from Samantha. It's the fact that it's so normal for men to wear makeup. I still get so shocked to see my favorite K-pop idols who are men who endorse makeup products. An example is Jin Young of GOT7 endorsed Tom Ford's foundation, and men who are actually very much knowledgeable in putting on makeup. And that would be Kun from NCT. I guess there are still people stuck with the idea that makeup was only made for women when anyone can wear makeup. I actually really, really like this insight. Let's go as your representative, gender equality advocate, Mal.
I think this comment by Samantha is very timely, especially in the context of what Dana said, gender equality. Because from what we can see now compared to before, a lot of people are already slowly appreciating like Korean skincare and then like Korean makeup, where like it's slowly starting to parang eradicate the stereotype where makeup is only limited for women. And we all have to acknowledge the fact that when a person tries to enhance themselves or want to highlight their features, it's not for other people, but it's for themselves naman. Like ano, we were born not to please other people. We were only born to please ourselves mainly. And I think how the market now is endorsing a lot of male idols is a sort of eye opener for people who are still stuck to the conservative perspective where makeup is limited to just one gender. But apparently it's not, because um, now I think a lot of people like or appreciate people who also take good care of their skin, or like who know how to do such difficult craft, especially that it takes skill for someone to know how to put on makeup, even if you're a girl or a guy or whatever pronoun that you would identify yourself as. So I think with this, we can see how slowly, hopefully, the Philippines would be able to parang deviate from what was taught to us for the longest time, and that we can be what we want and do what we want as long as we do not hurt other people around us. So yeah, I really like your comment, Samantha. Very
Also, can I just say, there's nothing wrong, like Mao said, there's nothing wrong in taking care of your skin. It doesn't make you any less of a man. It makes you even more clean.
Period.
There's nothing wrong with being hygienic. And I just have to say that companies need to stop making products that are specifically for men. Like they would say, a lip balms for men. Like, what's up? What's up with that? Like, pareho lang tayo ng labi, pareho lang tayo ng composition ng skin. Like, why do you have to market this towards men just because it says that it's for men? Para lang hindi mahiya yung mga lalaki na, oh, this is too girly if I buy a lip balm. It has to say for men. Stop. Ayun. So, okay, now we move on to our next and last question. Nerissa, would you like to read this one?
Okay, for our last comment, I think everyone can agree to this because it's very common, especially kung you're a fan of, you're a Korean enthusiast, Korean culture enthusiast. Okay, this is from Laureen, Laguio. So he said that the system of honorifics in Korea, for example, here in the Philippines, we simply address older males as kuya and older females as ate. In Korea, they have oppa or hyung, onni, nuna, which are used depending on both the speakers and listeners' sex. In addition, also said it's watching K-drama, which taught her about workplace honorifics like sunbe for your seniors and then pube for your juniors. Wow. So your thoughts on this, Miss Camille?
Actually, I agree. Parang everyone na who wants to learn Korean finds this difficult. Parang yun din lagi naririnig ko sa mga foreigner na idols. Parang Korean is hard because of the honorifics of, you know, for example, 죄송합니다. There's a lot of variations for I'm sorry. Tapos it depends pa on occasion, on your relationship with the person you're talking to. Ayun, pero in a way, one of the pros or na semi-cons din, I think, or basta one of pro din ng honorifics is it kinda makes this a person more respectful towards their elders. Ayun. But I'm not saying that Filipinos are disrespectful ganon. Because we have po and opo naman. But you know, through the system of honorifics, in a way it's I don't know, it's respectful in a sense. Ayun.
Ayan. So anything to add for this, Mao?
Yes.
Anything to add along with Camille's comment? Baka naman meron ka pa.
Oh, okay. I also agree with Camille on how there are commonalities when it comes to honorifics. But in the Philippines, hindi siya masyado enforced compared to Korea na strictly followed siya. Like hindi lang siya sa entertainment industry, but it also goes to work. It even goes to school. It even goes to home or even sa circle of friends nyo. Like na-apply siya. But in the Philippines, hindi naman siya masyado enforced, but it's there. And I think it's nice how we're able to see on another country's way of implementing similar traditions into their culture. And I think this also shows how unique each culture is. Same concept, but different application. So it just shows how diverse we are as a society. And yeah, I do agree with the comment also by Laureen.
Okay, I love how we were able to really distinguish how, despite there are Western and Eastern cultural differences, even within the Asian region, we also have our own differences, despite their very limited nuances. So that's it for our Aja board discussion. Thank you to everyone who contributed for today's episode Tabo session.
Before we wrap up this episode, we will give the floor to our guests to say their closing remarks. Siguro, we can start with Nash. Nash, ano naman masasabi mo sa ating mga listeners for your closing?
Hello. So, it's nice that we have this activity. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys liked what you heard. I hope somehow na-inspire kayo to, take initiatives to create something out of your out of your likeness, kumbaga. And I'm really, really happy that our org is growing, our family is growing. And hopefully sa mga listeners na not yet members ng Aja Animo, I hope you guys join cause ang dami pang in store for you guys, especially for the next set of officers. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so
Kamsahamnida.
much, Nash. Nash, baka gusto mong i-plug ang iyong,
Oh yeah, of course.
of
So
course.
guys, I hope you guys subscribe also to my YouTube channel entitled Cousins React PH. It's a YouTube reaction channel by my cousins and I. So yeah, we mostly react to K-pop groups, some P-pop groups also. Specifically, our content is mainly on Treasure and Blackpink. But we do a lot of ano rin, groups. Reaction channel siya. Filipino. Yes, let's go.
Alright,
We're
ayan.
about
Sige.
to reach 60K then. So, 400
Woo!
na lang. Let's go, guys. Subscribe.
Ayan.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Ayan, perks ng pagiging founder natin, may free free
May free
promotion.
shout out.
Okay, so what about you, Camille? Thank you, Nash.
Thank you
So,
so much.
hello. So, to all the listeners and to the project heads and to the host, well, first of all, I commend you guys for creating this podcast for this opportunity. So, thank you, and congratulations for this first episode. So thank you for inviting me. I had fun today. Tapos, Stan got 7, and while waiting for like their group comeback, abang-abang their solo works. Ganyan. And then Stan winner and Stan day 6. Day 6 comeback April 19, 6 p.m. KST. So, thank you very much. And since nasabi naman na since nasabi ni Nash yung member side, to all the sponsors, to the companies out there, to orgs out there, open po ang email ng Aja mo for sponsorships and partnerships. Charot lang. Ayun, pero ayun. So, basta yun. Thank you for having me, and I really can't wait. I'm proud of Aja Animo. So, I really can't wait of what else we have in store for everyone else. Yee!
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Camille, for coming into our first episode. Sige, last guest natin. Hello, Mel.
Siguro, I just want to thank everyone for, sacrificing their time just to listen to us share our thoughts and our opinions on from what was once a vision that's now slowly becoming into a reality. And then, and then that's soon to be the future of what I hopefully people get to appreciate more of different cultures at the same time not forget our own culture here in the Philippines. And since nag-promote sila ng mga groups nila, I also want to promote, please stream Wendy's new solo debut as a solo artist. Apparently, she sang all her parts sa music video live in each take. So she sang all of it live on repeat. And I also hope that you guys would stand CIX because they deserve so much love. And also, please appreciate CLC as well. And hopefully that they don't disband kahit malapit na 7 years nila. Ayan, so we hope that you guys tune in to the next episodes of the podcast. The project heads have prepared very interesting topics for everyone, and I hope they pique your interest as well. Yeah, thanks guys. Kamsahamnida. Kumo.
Okay. Siguro maisingit lang then you should have seen, like, to our listeners, you should have seen every reaction here in the group ni sinabi sa amin ni Mau yung about kay Wendy. So I guess, ayun, it just shows how Wendy is as an artist. So ayun, stream all of those. And thank you so much to our wonderful guests for letting us know more about Aja Animo. We look forward to the future projects from our organization, Aja Kaja Fighting.
Yes, we hope you've enjoyed listening. Stay tuned as we have more exciting topics to talk about. Catch us next Friday as we look into the Hallyu wave in the
Ooh,
Philippines.
now that sounds interesting. So to stay updated on our Aja Kaja podcast details, make sure to like our Facebook page, Aja Animo. This is where we'll be broadcasting our episodes on Fridays at 8 p.m.
Yes, don't forget to follow our Instagram page at Aja Animo for more information about Korean culture and Aja Animo's projects.
Thanks for tuning in. Again, this has been your host, Dana,
And Nerissa,
on the Aja
Kaja,
podcast. See you next Friday. 감사합니다.
Kamnida!
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not represent those of the organization, the university, and its stakeholders.